Welcome, lords and ladies, kings and queens, my noble court, to the Cosmic Archive, a living legendarium of a million worlds. I am Lore Master Leonis, your humble scribe and archivist, and today I'm going to be out here reacting to Skyebrows' most recent video, Never Lego. I find it interesting that we have catgirls at the front of this. Last week or the week before, I think, I covered the Book of Mormon, which is a much less, from what I understand, this is a much more intense, more like Skyebrows' normal style of video. Book of Mormon was very low tone, low effort, comparatively. I don't want to say it was necessarily low effort. I think compared to Skyebrows' normal work, it's low effort, but it was also high fidelity and well done, so less effort maybe, but not low effort perhaps. This is talking about the Bricks and Minifigs Lego scandal. So for anyone who's not up to date on that, the short version is this man named Brian Mansell consigned a massive Star Wars Lego collection to a Bricks and Minifig store in Salem, Oregon. For about a year, that consignment deal went as it's supposed to. Basically, the store holds the Legos. Brian maintains possession of the Legos. When the store sells one of Brian's sets, they pay Brian either most of or a cut of the money for the set. At some point, the owners of that store got hostily taken over by a couple of other owners who were more in line with corporate, and those new owners, they show up and they're like, yeah, there's only this much Lego in the store. And then Brian comes back later and says, hey, I'm owed money for all these Legos, so either give me my Legos back or pay me my money. And the store doesn't want to pay him or give him his Legos back. There's been this whole back and forth on the Bricks and Minifigs side, corporate saying we didn't have them, no we did have them, no we didn't have them, no we did have them, changing their story constantly, etc., etc. Brian is probably not, I watched CoffeeZilla's video in preparation for reacting to this. Brian's probably not fully aware of everything that had happened, and it looks like there actually were some Legos that got lost in the shuffle, and he just never got paid out for those Legos. Like, they were sold, but the previous franchise owner had not yet done all the paperwork and paid him out for them when the new owners took over. The new owners took the stance of what's in the store is mine now. I don't have to pay anybody anything for any of this, and your contract means nothing to us. So there's a whole bunch of stuff like that. Then you had this YouTuber, Reckless Ben, gets involved trying to uncover everything that happened. He did a lot of crazy stuff trying to figure out what was happening. Ultimately, he ended up winning a court case. There's a lot of detail to that. I'm skipping over most of it. He won a court case against the store, and then they shut down the store so they wouldn't have to pay anything. So he then went against the store owners personally, which meant going to Utah, and specifically to a small town in Utah where everyone knows everyone and they're all part of the Mormon church. I know the Mormon church made a response. I have not seen that response video yet. My goal here is just to lay everything out, and then when we're watching this video, I can kind of reasonably react to what's happening with what I know. I don't think the Mormon church is really at fault here, but there is a sense to the public, there is a sense that like all these people were part of the Mormon church. This part's confirmed. They were all part of the Mormon church, the corporate, the McNeff brothers, who are the corporate people. And then you have the two franchise owner, Brendan Best and Josh Johnson, I think. They're all part of the Mormon church, and the Mormons look out for each other. So the police and these guys all went to the same schools, by the way. And so it kind of paints this picture that like the police are on their side, and the police absolutely just completely went against Ben the entire time he went up there trying to get this lawsuit taken care of. They went after him as much as they could. They arrested him multiple times, etc. And put a warrant out for his arrest where they couldn't make anything stick. They put a warrant out for his arrest for something that would stick. And now Ben is facing a RICO lawsuit as a result of one of his schemes to try to get them to give up the Legos. And Brian Mansell is also facing a lawsuit, and we're not clear exactly how that's going to go. CoffeeZilla did a great job breaking things down. I saw a video earlier that said something like CoffeeZilla missed something that was really important, but I don't know what that is. So it's Father's Day, and I'm trying to spend some time with my father as well, so I'm probably going to keep my reacts a little shorter today. Just over 6.5 minutes to get started. So let's do a minimal and a maximal react, and I will try to keep my maximal react maybe a little less maximal today. Without further ado, let's put on some closed captioning because he doesn't have his lyrics down here. He says flashing lights warning though, so if anyone has issues with flashing lights, you've been warned. Let's see what Never Lego is. It's a full 5-minute music video, so let's see. Man, welcome back, YouTube. Wow, Skyebrows, that was funny. That was incredibly funny. and incredibly poignant and incredibly on fucking point. That was good. That was really, really good. Honestly, that was really, really good. All right, I'm not gonna talk too much interim. We're gonna go right into the maximal reaction. Basically, I really want to try to make this a shorter video if I can, but I still want to get all my thoughts out. I didn't say everything I was thinking of during that whole thing because we're gonna pause a bunch during this one. I don't know who these catgirls are supposed to be representing. This is Aaron McNeff, who is the CEO of Bricks and Minifigs, the company behind all this. And he's being depicted here as Jabba the Hutt because both of them are incredibly greedy and self-serving. Okay, the U-Haul truck. First of all, I love this idea of it being called Alderaan. Again, I'm going to do some for posterity statements. Alderaan, which I believe is just Alderaan, is a planet in the Star Wars movies. And in the first Star Wars movie that was released, which is episode 4, which is, what do they call it? A New Hope? Yeah. So in A New Hope, Alderaan is destroyed by the Death Star. Like it's an entire planet, it gets blown up by a super weapon. So that's a nod to that. But this UPS truck design is because in the Coffeezilla video, we learned that there was a UPS truck that was present the night that Brendan Best took control of the shop. And there were people who claimed that this U-Haul truck didn't exist. Specifically, the McNeffs said that there was no U-Haul truck, that Brendan Best had showed up in a rental vehicle, not in a U-Haul truck. And there was also a statement that there was another store Brendan Best and Josh Johnson ran in a different part of Oregon that received a shipment of Star Wars Legos in a U-Haul like that the next day. So that's where this whole U-Haul thing comes from. Some call me Millennium Vulture. I'm just a man of culture. Millennium Vulture is a reference to the Millennium Falcon. This is Josh Johnson, I'm pretty sure, and they're depicting him as Darth Sidious or Emperor Palpatine. Both of those names refer to the same character. He is a character in the Star Wars franchise that runs the evil empire that Luke Skywalker and his rebel friends are fighting against. This, as I said earlier, this is Reckless Ben and his crew, and I think this is Brian Mansell here. These three are like Reckless Ben's crew that helped expose this whole situation to the public. So if I'm understanding correctly, this is Aaron McNeff, the CEO of Bricks and Minifigs. I think this has to be Brendan Best. And this is either Mr. McNeff, Aaron and Matt's father, or this is Matt McNeff. But I think Matt McNeff had more hair than that. So he said, so he's basically saying, I saw your Star Wars collection, I wanted it, and now I've got this guy in my face. This bends up in my face, never let go. Yeah, the more I see this character, the more I'm convinced this is Brian Mansell, because he always wears this like cap in all the videos. I think the only one where he didn't is when they presented him the promise from Josh that he'd give them the Legos back if they apologized, and this guy said no, because if you apologize, then the court can take that to be an admission of guilt on your side. Never let go. Never let go. Never let go. When I saw it packed on the shelf, something woke inside myself. Some call it envy, some say. So I don't know what's going on here. Is this supposed to basically be... like, this is the first we see the lightsaber fight between these two. Oh, I didn't notice the AT-AT catwalker in the back. Okay, now we get a better look at the thing. Yeah, see, now that I look at the face more, I'm more convinced that this is a nod to Kylo Ren than to Vader, because it has that kind of barbute helmet shape to it. Some call it envy, some say greed. It's just my destiny. I Obi-Wan it. Brian's I Obi-Wan it. As Obi-Wan is a character. Claim may be fair, like my hair just ain't there, but my heart don't care. Just another brick in the wall, I'll hang up It's been pretty consistent that the McNeffs will say anything to try to play the game that it's not their fault. They weren't told anything, and they're being called thieves for no good reason.
When you called deep inside, felt the pull, I saw the Death Star's hull. Maybe Dad was never there, life was just unfair, maybe.
Right. I mentioned this during the Minimal React 2, which is that it came out, I don't know the details to this, but it came out during the course of all this stuff that Aaron and Matt McNeff, which are running the company, they're the CEO and COO of, that's Chief Executive Officer and Chief Operations Officer of the Bricks Minifigs corporate brand. Their dad basically was more or less funding the company and had a pretty big stock in it. And their dad just kind of walked away, and some stuff about their past and their relationship with their father came out, and I guess Dad just thinks that they're bad at business and he's not going to help them with it anymore, and they think that Dad is an absentee father that was never there for them or something like that. I do not know the deeper details of this. I didn't get to see that video yet, but I know that this was a narrative that came out I want to say about a week ago.
Maybe that's why every time I see a box from 79, I shiver and shake. It's no rookie mistake. Call it fat, call me trad, but I'm just dealing with my distant dad. Never.
I don't know what call it trad, call me. Call it trad probably goes back to the tradition thing from the first store. This whole lightsaber sequence here is really good. I like these, like, this circular thing that they go through here feels a lot to me like the area where Qui-Gon Jinn, Obi-Wan, and Darth Maul fight in episode 1.
The galaxy keeps on calling me. Don't make me sad. Chewbacca free these mold.
Got more of these catwalkers back here. Yeah, right there. Looks more like a dog now. I keep pausing because I'm just trying to see what their background looks like. Okay, so this part here is in reference to, in episode 4, A New Hope, which is confusingly for those who didn't follow Star Wars as it was coming out, the first 3 videos released are episodes 4, 5, and 6, A New Hope, The Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. So episode 4 is A New Hope, episode 5 is Empire Strikes Back, episode 6 is Return of the Jedi. Episodes 1, 2, and 3 are the prequel trilogy, and they were released like a decade and a half later. So those are the Phantom Menace. So when I say that these guys, Qui-Gon Jinn, Obi-Wan, and Darth Maul fought in an area in episode 1, that's what I'm referring to, is the first of the prequel movies, the Phantom Menace. And then episode 2 is Attack of the Clones, and episode 3 is Revenge of the Sith. This is a reference to the ending sequences in, like, the climax sequence in episode 4, A New Hope. Luke Skywalker flies an X-Wing, which is what you're seeing here. That's this ship. And he fires proton torpedoes into a very small vent hole, which manages to start a chain reaction that ultimately destroys the Death Star. The Death Star being the planet-destroying superweapon they used to destroy Alderaan earlier in this same film.
You saw what you saw, but don't you know possession is 9/10 of the law?
This is somewhat important to bring up because it is more or less true. Possession is 9/10 of the law, and when you make a consignment deal, you're kind of dealing with that reality, even if technically, legally, the stuff is still yours. If you can't prove that they have it, like, how are they going to get it back to you? Like, maybe they'll have to pay you for it ultimately in some way. The court might make them ultimately pay you back money for it, but they get the thing they stole from you, and there's not much you can do about it.
The prophet spoke of kingdoms high.
Now, see, I'm not sure who this is. My guesses are this is either a depiction of Brian Mansell's father in his youth, or a depiction of, what's his name, John Smith or something, the guy who started the Mormon church in a Jedi outfit, because he kept coming back to this character in the last video.
And planets waiting in the sky, but what good is a heavenly sphere if Cloud City isn't here?
Cloud City is a location from Empire Strikes Back. It is also one of the Lego sets one of the lowest depicted Cloud City, and it's one of the ones that is like it's popped up multiple times as one of the ones that Brian has not been paid for.
Would have gotten away with it too, if not for Shaggy from Scooby-Doo.
This is such a great line, by the way, because bro straight does look like Shaggy. Like he's more put together than Shaggy. He clearly like takes care of himself a little better, looks a little nicer. Shaggy kind of lets himself go. But this is like what Shaggy would look like if he cleaned up, like he cared about the way he looked.
And those meddling kids with a million vids never let
Those meddling kids with a million vids. That's got to be a tagline someone can use somewhere.
go. Never let go. Never let go. Never let go.
Hey, hold on. I want to see something see if this is what I think it is. It kind of looks like, yeah, there's like just a web of lasers back there. Is that something that I'm trying to figure out if that's something that Sith Catgirl did. Oh, we don't want it muted. I can't tell what's going on with that. It kind of looks like maybe on the way down, Sith Catgirl sliced up whatever this is, but it could also just be the AI having way too much going on at once.
Fate may be a detail, but I know my flock won't let me fail.
Fate? What did he say there? Fate something sale? Fate may be a deed of sale, but I know my flock.
But I know my flock won't let me fail.
I'm not sure what that's in reference to. So I think the deed of sale thing is talking about eventually you're going to have to pull out all the paperwork and prove what was sold, what wasn't. In the CoffeeZilla video, we found out a bunch of it was put on layaway too. So they had not received complete payment for them yet, which complicates the issue with like what is Brian actually owed and how does that get figured out in the paperwork when it's not a full sale yet. There were times when they put them on layaway and then that person would change their mind and be like, never mind, I don't want this, but they didn't necessarily get the refund for the layaway, if I understand correctly. I don't know what's going on with that. I know my flock won't let me fail. Oh, you know what? I just realized what that means. We're referring to the fact that Mormons are considered sort of a part of Christendom, part of the Christian church. They believe generally in the same creator deity. So oftentimes Christ referred to the Christian church as his flock, and he was its shepherd. So I'm guessing that's what he's talking about, is the flock of the Mormon church will not let him fail. Calling heroin into the rescue. So based on how it's spelled and what we're looking at, I can tell that what he means is a heroine, as in the feminine form of the word hero. But when I think the word heroin, I think drugs. So that threw me for a second.
My college friends come to a rescue.
Yes, my college. Oh, it is referring to heroin because it's in the car. Someone said he had heroin in the car and they searched the car for 3 hours. Yes. So this is in reference to the American Fork Police Department. I saw that there was a video about the American Fork Police Department training data, but I haven't seen that either. The American Forks Police Department defended Josh and Brendan, basically just attacked Reckless Ben at every chance they could without ever caring to hear his side of the story or determine whether or not he was really operating in bad faith.
Some people seek salvation. Some people seek control. I just want your TIE fighters to lift my empty soul. I never had much growing up. Dad was...
Okay, so this goes back to like some of the things the McNeffs have been saying to try to garner sympathy, is like they never had much growing up, dad wasn't there. They are blaming a lot of... Well, when the dad backed out, they blamed a lot of things on the dad. They took a moral stance against their father, saying that their father was morally unrighteous in the way he raised them, and that had something to do with what's going on here. I get a general feeling from the McNeffs us that there's a level of like, we understand we didn't handle this very well, but could people give us some grace in that we had this thrown in our faces, and of course on the face of it we're like, there's no way in hell this is a thing. But people are of the opinion that you knew full well that you robbed this guy and you're just trying to get us to look elsewhere. So that's kind of where the public opinion versus how the McNess are handling it is going.
When I saw your interceptor, it felt like my Alderaan. Some $100,000.
When I saw your interceptor, it felt like my Alderaan. I'm not sure what that means, because I feel like, Alderaan, again, Alderaan is a planet that is destroyed at the start. Well, maybe not at the start, but maybe about a quarter way through the film A New Hope. So in terms of dealing with inside the lore of Star Wars, in terms of dealing with the Empire in a media capacity, the destruction of Alderaan is like the ultimate proof that the Empire is just a pure evil force that will annihilate anything in its way. I'm not sure what this is in reference to there, because like Leia, Princess Leia, who's one of the more important characters, she's a princess of Alderaan. She is one of few survivors of Alderaan. And so I could see this being like, this is like my home that I never got, or my home that got taken away from me. Okay, so this will be the first video where I actually stopped recording in the middle of it and then had to come back and to do a little more recording. I'll put a little blurb in the final video about it. I think I was talking about about the CEO stealing stuff, but I don't remember for sure. So I'm gonna go ahead and back up just a bit.
People seek control. I just want your TIE fighters to lift my empty soul. I never had much growing up.
Ah, yes.
Dad was always gone, so when I saw your interceptor, it felt like my Alderaan. Some $100,000 worth of Star Wars brick by brick. Some people saw a crime scene. For me, it's one cool trick. Thought I'd evade.
See, I get that one too. Some people saw a crime scene. To me, it's one cool trick. So it's like, and he's about to talk about this too, how he thought he was going to get away with it, but because of the media attention on it now, like everyone knows what happened with this.
Detection, thought nobody would know, but somehow every camera angle is fit for HBO.
Oh yeah, every camera angle is fit for HBO. Oh man, they're just self-owning themselves. Like at the end of the day, that's what it is. Is they're just like they're just digging the hole deeper and deeper and deeper, and then being like, why does everybody hate us? So this is actually an event that occurred during everything. I said that Reckless Ben was arrested multiple times. The second time he was arrested, he had been arrested. He got taken down to the station. They questioned him. They put him through processing. They couldn't stick anything to him, and they let him go. Pretty much like an hour after he gets back to his Airbnb, they SWAT his Airbnb, arrest him and all his friends, and take them all back down to the station. This is what I mean when I say like the police were very, very aggressively targeting Ben and not letting him, like they just assume he was a villain instead of seeing if he was actually doing anything in bad faith.
Fix it later, earning every single hater.
He certainly earned every single hater, that's for sure. He has, especially the McNeffs, but also Josh and Brendan, have like done nothing to make themselves look reasonable in the eyes of the public. And even when CoffeeZilla did his whole bit on it, Josh would not interact with him through anything other than text messages.
Including my creator.
Oh, right. Because basically he said, I swear on God and everything, I won't screw you. And like, I don't know if this was part of the Mormon church's response, but he reneged on that. So that means that he's even betrayed his own God at this point. That's why he said, even my creator. I want to see. I'm so late on catching this, like, consciously. What is in the background here that's shooting at them? I assume it's more of the walkers. Yeah, it's more of the walkers. Although these look smaller, more human size. They might just be, like, this animation's equivalent to stormtroopers, but they look like the catwalkers from earlier.
Never let go. On a thin line, on a slack line, trying to reach.
Thin line on a slack line. I don't know what that refers to directly, but I know it's a line from the Brick of Mormon, which is the last video he made about this subject. This is a much more involved video with a lot more animation to it. The last one was basically just like very realistic looking versions of all the people involved just floating in space surrounded by Lego.
Tiny star, you know I gotta hustle to get my castle out there on a planet far. Some follow the word without correction, others sift through the second-hand section.
So I think he's saying here it's just more of the like I wanted to put my castle on a planet far. Like, yeah, it's just like doing this was going to make me rich, basically. The biggest thing on this is that he was trying to enrich himself unjustly. So that's the major claim. It's what you could claim they were doing.
Some folks seek holy perfection. I only ever wanted the largest Lego Star Wars collection. Never let go.
Did we just get a good look at the villain's face for this? See, now yeah, we did. That kind of looks like Shredder, I'm not gonna lie. Oh man, now Catgirl Jedi looks like Deku in this shot from My Hero. And now I'm looking at the things in the background that look more like soldiers now than walkers.
Never let go. No, never let go. Never let go. Never let go.
See, I don't know if any of the stuff going on visually here has anything to do with the situation. This just seems like it looks cool. Well, I think that covered it pretty well. I don't really have a lot to say at this point, at the end. This was a much better, this was more Skyebrows' normal style of covering things. So I'm glad to see that return to form. And also, it's hilarious. It's very, very funny. I'm super glad to see this entire video, the whole lightsaber fight with the catgirls. I love it. I love it. It's really, really good. Yeah, I think I've said everything I want to say on that subject. So until next time, my curious scholars, bye-bye.